Hi guys, let's get started on these delicious blueberry scones. They're easier than you think. I'll probably say this a few times, but hit subscribe so you can get all the ingredients and the measurements to make this recipe. You will want to. So first, to get started, let's start with the streusel topping. So it's going to take some flour. It's also going to take some brown sugar. And then one of the things in this recipe is everything cold that needs to be cold needs to stay cold. So we're going to grab out the butter, and it's got to be cold. And to cut it up, you can cut it up, but I'm going to grate it. I just think that goes easier. So again, this is just the streusel topping. We're going to mix up really quickly. Grate this really quick. Okay. Now, it's kind of a mess. This is the messy part though. We're going to take our fingers and literally, I'm just going to try to make clumps, but mix the flour and the brown sugar together. It's kind of one big clump. Might have used a little bit of a small bowl. But this is going to be for the topping. And besides that, after the streusel toppings for the blueberry scones, we're also going to make some icing, homemade icing. So, real quick, we're going to just mix this up like so. All right, and then we're going to put it in the fridge to stay cold, and then we're going to get started on the blueberry scones. Okay, while the streusel's in there getting cold, we're ready to make the scones. So we're going to add all the flour. Again, the measurements and things are on the website. So there goes the flour. We're going to do some sugar. We're also going to do baking powder. We're also going to do baking soda and a little bit of salt. And what's nice is we're going to use this bowl. We're not going to use beaters or mixer, just this bowl. So then just real quick, kind of mix the dry ingredients all together like a lot of other recipes. All right, there we go. Now, we're ready for the cold butter. So now, it calls for the remaining stick of the butter. And again, we're gonna just go ahead and grate this. It's just an easier, quicker way to get the butter chopped up while it's still cold. Okay, now we have completely cut up the butter. Now we're gonna take this pastry brush and just kind of mix it all through the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt. We're gonna just get this stirred up. Again, in this recipe, you're not using a lot of things, this one big bowl really in the bowl for the streusel, but the important thing is that it's gonna be quick and easy. So, again, I'm just trying to get the butter all in clumps and kind of get this stirred up with all the other ingredients. All right, now we are going to add the very cold whipping cream. And what it does is it calls for an egg and some vanilla, and you whisk it together, so I went ahead and added that. So, again, we're trying to keep everything freezing cold. So in here is an egg, a teaspoon of vanilla, and over a cup of whipping cream. So you know these blueberry scones are going to be very moist and delicious. Again, all my friends and family love it. So now we're gonna pour in all the cold ingredients. All right, and then we're just simply gonna take a fork, stir all of it up like you would anything else, kind of mix it. And then in this recipe, you don't want to overmix. Again, you want everything to be cold. Now, we're doing blueberry scones. You can do this and make it any fruit you want. If it's fresh, you must get it in a frozen state. Oh, I just made a big mess. And if they're frozen, of course, keep them frozen. So I have a heaping cup of blueberry already measured out. Okay, now we're just gonna go ahead. Oh, they're so cold they stuck. All right, hey. And now we are going to mix this up really quick, but not over mix. Now what I found, and to keep the mess down a little bit, is I love this Pampered Chef scraper. Just something my daughter gave me as a gift. But I absolutely love it. So they want it to stir all up, but not over stir, not over mix. And this actually looks just a tad bit dry. So we are quickly going to add just a little more whipping cream. Literally, that might have been a tablespoon. All right, we want to mix these bad boys up. They're going to be so delicious. We're trying not to smash the blueberries. The blueberries frozen, I had never had them until this recipe. I always had fresh blueberries, which I love. I had no idea the pop and zest and deliciousness these frozen blueberries do. All right, so we're just gonna finish mixing this up. And then what we're gonna do is make this into a round ball, actually. And, but it's gonna end up going in the freezer because we want this literally frozen back up. All right, so here we go. Okay, we are just about done mixing. Now we're gonna take this big glop and pour it out. Well, not really pour. It's like a big ball of dough. That's what it should be, and a little sticky as you can see. That's all right. All right. Now we're gonna try to make this kind of like a big piece of pizza or a big pizza. And so see, we're gonna kind of make this go together, then smash it. Let's see if I can scoop back. All right, so we're gonna try and make this like a small pizza, if you will. Still kind of have it thick. All right, kind of about like that. Now we're gonna cut it up real quick and we're gonna get it in the freezer. You can use a pizza cutter or you can use a knife, whichever one you want. Literally cut it in half, then cut it in half again. I mean, this is it. That's how easy this was to put together. These are moist and delicious. You just wait. Then cut it in half again. This batch is gonna make a total of 8. All right. Now, what we're going to do real quick is put a little bit of whipping cream on top. All right, now we're just gonna spread a little bit of whipping cream on top. You know, when I've eaten scones at other places, they're dry. And I'm telling you, these are moist and delicious. And I've had a lot of friends and family request me to do this video for the recipe. I have several other videos if you just hit subscribe. I love all the comfort food I make. Now that streusel topping we made, all right. Here it is. So now we are just going to crumble that all on top. Remember, it was the flour, the brown sugar, some cold butter. And then we're just gonna kind of press it down so it doesn't roll off the top. You see the big butter chunks, just kind of put them back down. Okay, now I'm gonna put this in the freezer for 20 minutes. Then we're gonna put them in the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my oven at 400. They're gonna bake for 20 minutes also. But first, they're gonna go in the freezer for 20 minutes. So see you in about 20 minutes. Okay, I'm back. It's been 20 minutes. Let's get those blueberry scones out of the freezer real quick. All right. Now, just quickly, there they are. For this, I did real quickly just reach in them a second ago and recut them, so make it a little bit quicker. So you do have to recut the pizza pieces. Now, we're gonna take it piece by piece. See these delicious blueberry scones. We wanna give them some space. They are going to expand and get big. I've kind of been doing them every other way. And then they're gonna bake. The recipe calls for like 20 minutes. I'm gonna try, believe it or not, like 19. And then we're just gonna go from there. So, again, let's get all these bad boys on here. This was not that hard to make. I hope you hit subscribe. I hope you try the recipe for your family. They're going to love it. And this is before the icing's even made. And the icing recipe that I do have with this actually does call for milk. And when we do it, we're using whipping cream. So, all right, we are now Ah, so sticky. All right, we're gonna put these bad boys in the oven on 400 for 19 minutes. So let's get going. Here we go. All right, hey, see you in 19 minutes. Okay, they are ready to come out of the oven. Let's see how delicious these look. I'm excited. Look at these bad boys. And again, we've got that crumbly topping on there. Look how big and piping hot these got. Oh, they're hot, but they're big, they're beautiful. All right, while those cool, we're gonna turn the oven off and we're gonna make the icing. Now this icing actually calls for milk, powdered sugar, and vanilla. We're gonna use some milk, but right off, we're gonna use powdered sugar instead. So we've got 2 cups of powdered sugar. We're gonna use a little bit of vanilla. And then we're gonna use whipping cream, because I'm telling you what, it makes it thicker and it's just so delicious. So we're gonna stir this up really quickly. Again, this was just powdered sugar. I'm using whipping cream. It's gonna make it thicker than milk, and I like the thickness. So once we get this all stirred up, like so. All right, so we're finishing stirring. That is really thick. So that's where a little bit of milk is now gonna come into play. We're just gonna use maybe a tablespoon. We're gonna stir that up. And that's gonna just thin it a little bit. But I'm telling you, the whipping cream, besides thickness, it really gives it a much better flavor. So as soon as these cool off, in just a few minutes, we are going to drench these blueberry scones and this delicious, thick, creamy icing. So stay with me. Okay, guys, I took that icing, like I said. We did the powdered sugar, the vanilla, whipping cream. Trust me, it called for milk, but you want to use whipping cream. And then in the end, use a little bit of milk just to thin it. So, watch this. We are literally going to cover this whole bad boy with this icing. And we are going to do that to each and every scone. Okay, guys, I've got icing on all of them. They're gonna be delicious, moist. Please hit subscribe so you don't miss this recipe. See you soon.